Well, the narrative that Indian government is presenting to the world is being challenged not only by the opposition, by some of the thought leaders in India, but also by the rest of the world. Now, I listened to and also read through the text of the statement made by External Affairs Minister, and I saw that he was evading many of the questions. For example, whether their planes were shot down. He just simply evaded that subject from that statement. And he kept saying that the world stood with India in the sense that it condemned Pahalgam terrorist attack. Well, the Pakistan also condemned it. Terrorism is always condemnable, but no country in the world stood by India in its blame on Pakistan. That's the key, because India had taken a rash action of attacking Pakistan in the name of avenging terrorist attack. But there was absolutely no linkage of Pakistan. And today I was just hearing Amit Shah, their home minister, taking a few names randomly that these people are from Lashkar. Now, earlier they were saying they are from TRF. Now they are saying that we have. So there is no Lashkar. If you go to Murid K and Bahalpur, which they have decimated, according to them, they've only decimated mosques and allied schools. And in the process, taken 31 lives. They should be ashamed of taking innocent lives rather than expecting the world to support them. So my sense is that people of Pakistan at least are not impressed, and I don't think the people of the rest of the world are impressed. Their opposition will continue to challenge. Now, I was just looking at the tweet by Mr. Amit Shah, taking these three names. And when I browsed through that, there was one sort of comment where I think their Indian actor Shah Rukh Khan's picture was a bit, strangely done and written, Aap bhi sun lo, you may also hear this. So that clearly shows that there's a huge bias against Muslims on which the Modi government plays. And this is all a reflection of that. They are now desperate, and in desperation, they are taking names right, left, and center. Well, Kashmir issue has been internationalized. It has always been an international dispute. India was in a state of denial, and with President Donald Trump repeating ad nauseum the statement that he was the one who had mediated this truce between the two countries, and it also offered categorically that he would like to mediate on the Kashmir dispute. This clearly shows that the world knows and recognizes that the root cause of problems at this time between India and Pakistan is the Kashmir dispute. And if India continues to occupy that territory and use brutal force, which it has been doing for the last 7-8 decades, there will be resistance of one kind or the other. And why blame Pakistan for every resistance that is there? It is only natural when you occupy people and express their wishes, they will resent it and they will resist. And therefore, you can't really blame Pakistan. But Pakistan, I think, has done well by sending out its own narrative to the rest of the world. I think the world has a much better appreciation of the merit of the case that Pakistan has presented as compared to India's. There are many things that I read in that statement, and I believe it was a lollipop being given to the people of India. They are simply not believable. For instance, the 5 points under the so-called new normal that India claims it has created. Each one of those points can easily be contested because the new normal is what happened to India on 10th May. The first point that they had raised was that India is only defending itself, and that India will respond to every attack that has been made. So these are the 5 points that I have. That terrorists will not be treated as proxies, which basically means that if there is a proxy, then the the holder of that proxy will also be a terrorist. In that case, BLA is doing a lot of terrorism in Balochistan. So that means India, which is sponsoring BLA, will also be a terrorist. If TTP is getting India's support and TTP is shedding Pakistani blood, then that by extension, India will also be regarded as a terrorist state. I think these are the things that we need to bring out to the world, that whatever India is doing, actually it applies on it. The second point was that cross-border terrorism will get a response. And so will Pakistan do that. I mean, this is clear. We have said it many times that if you give any kind of response, there will be a counter response. And secondly, Pakistan, you have one Mumbai, and Pakistan get dozens of Mumbai. But we don't really jump to the conclusions. We investigate and then find out even then we don't attack India. So I think this point also probably needs to be thought through. The third point was that terror and talks cannot go together. But then in the same sentence, the minister says that we will talk only on terror, which means that you are ready to talk, but only on terror. So fine, let's talk. Let's talk on that terrorism, because there are two kinds of terrorism that India is perpetrating in Pakistan. One is through proxies, and the second is by hiring killers to assassinate people inside Pakistan. And we have caught as many as several people, but if I recall correctly, I think there were about 20 people during 2023 alone that India had assassinated by hiring through a third country. The fourth point was that there will be no nuclear blackmail. I don't know what he was referring to, because even in Pulwama, after Pulwama, when India aggressed against Pakistan, attacked Balakot, Pakistan responded by downing their planes and capturing their pilot and then handing him back. So, and in this case also, we haven't used nuclear deterrence. That is still there. Even the conventional deterrence that we have is enough. Why should we engage in nuclear deterrence? So I don't really understand the argument. And the fifth one was, blood and water cannot flow together. All right, we'll see. We'll see how you are able to stop water, because that means this is a clear act of state terrorism against the people of Pakistan, 240 million people. You want to starve them. Agriculture is the mainstay for Pakistan's economy, for the people of Pakistan. So we'll see how it goes. I believe that their entire narrative is questionable. I don't think anyone will believe it. It was something he was trying to, answer in a way to the questions that were raised by the opposition, but sort of evading them in a way and just resorting to the bravado. And I think that will not settle the questions that are still there. Well, twofold, I think. One is to suppress the resistance movement in the, Indian occupied Kashmir. The people have fought. 3 generations have fought. I don't understand why India is not getting this message so clear, that these people don't want to live under Indian occupation. And the second, I think the purpose is to blame Pakistan somehow and just randomly. And I tell you, from in the past 25 years, my book is coming out shortly, which I have investigated most of these incidents. My research shows that the initial blame that is placed on Pakistan, several years down the line, turns out that there were internal elements inside India which were involved. And this you will see tomorrow. Then again, the same thing will happen in case of Pahalgam. Let a few years pass by. So my sense is that Indians are not just getting the message that the people of Jammu and Kashmir do not wish to live with India, and their occupation is totally illegal. Naturally, they'll be offended because their president, their secretary of state have said it all. There are several points I want to make on this. One is that India's insistence that this was not mediated by the United States it has no takers, because the US will naturally be offended that that India is sort of uh, saying something which their president has been saying long time. The second point is that of late, I think there is a realization that India is trying to play on all sides. It has taken a lot of economic and military investments from the US, but it is also buying cheap Russian oil and then selling it, the same oil on the high seas. It is also engaged with China and elsewhere. And therefore, I think this was also a strong message from the US, that look, if you keep doing this thing, running with the hare, hunting with the hound, playing double games, then we also know that there is Pakistan, and this time around, Pakistan has received this message that that the United States wants to keep its options open. The third element in this whole episode is that the world has also come to realize that Pakistan had nothing to do with it, that Pakistan's case was built on truth, and India's was just dramatizing the whole thing. That's why I think the Americans have given a sort of message to the Indians that look, one, your case is not strong, and second, you are playing double games with us vis-a-vis Russia, and therefore we have other options. So it's not really truly out of love for Pakistan that Americans are coming closer to Pakistan, but it is also sending a strong message to India itself. Well, that cannot be ruled out because there are many indications that Modi is losing popularity within his own ranks also. These are indeed, we will see how it goes. But the kind of narrative his colleagues are building, we saw, for example, Ajit Doval's National Security Advisor statement that nothing was done in India, not even a glass broke. It was sort of laughable claim. But at the same time, they are trying to present to their own people a falsehood which people will not accept. So in desperation, he can do anything. And it is a matter of record and pattern and historical record that India has always used Pakistan as a bogey to win elections. This is on record. And the former governor of the Indian occupied Kashmir had stated so in so many words that after Pulwama, he was asked to stay quiet because this would give them some electoral gains. And that is exactly what may happen this time when the elections take place in Bihar in November, or several important elections are coming up next year. We should be on our guards because they can create any false flag or through any of the proxy outfits and create a ground for aggressing against Pakistan. So we have to be on the guard, although they will think twice. What happened on 10th May, I think they will think twice what has happened, because there are increasingly people saying that Pakistan has full support, at least from 3 countries, whereas India has from none. So I think there is a talk that India has increased its fronts. There is Pakistan, there is China, there is Bangladesh within South Asia. So I think this will act as a deterrence. But again, if you are desperate, you can do anything. Therefore, it cannot be ruled out. We have to stay on guards.